All right, guys. Let's see if we can get some audio going now. You guys hear me now? Hey, guys, can you hear me now? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. All right. Let me get out of here. All right, guys, I'm trying to bring everybody else over to this stream right here because we had in the other room, it was not working. So let me see if I can find everybody else in the other room and get them back over here. We're trying it with our Wirecast, our normal Wirecast. It was not working. So we're trying a different one now. And so that's the delay, guys. So I apologize for this, but I'm trying to close out that chat room that we just had, that other room that we had, and bring everybody back over here. So I hope I'm not boring you guys or booting you guys out. Because if I have to look at just that screen right there, there's no way I can read the comments you guys are leaving there. So I'm trying to get into this other room over here so I can put the chat room on my monitor over here and watch it. So you guys will bear with me for 1 second. Encoder. All right, fellas. I think I might have lost everybody else that was in the other room. Tell me if you guys can see this text. I'm putting some text at the bottom because I can't see any of yours. I just put tests in here. No. That's my live stream. Here we go. Here we go. All right. I'm trying to see, guys. All right. I'm showing that this is all on now. And let's see. Sort of. Okay. Okay. I got them linked up now. The sound is probably not going to be that great because I am literally, because you can probably tell because it looks a little bit different now. I'm running it off of my iPhone right now. None of our camera system in here. The camera would work. You guys can see the camera. But obviously there was no sound. So what I had to do is end up killing the stream from my other camera and getting it just on my phone, which I guess that's a good backup as far as having some kind of a backup versus none. The problem is I had worked on some pretty cool stuff, and I don't even know if I can find it now. Surely can't show y'all. I had gotten some pictures of a whole bunch of different guns, and I was going to try to make this show more about interaction with you guys as far as what is your favorite carry pistol, and even talking about carry rounds. I had some artwork that I was, with the new software that I have, that I could put the artwork up on the screen where you guys could actually see everything that I'm looking at while we're talking about it. Can't do that now because it was all on my Mac here. And now it's on my iPhone is what I'm viewing it on. So I can't do any of that. So I apologize. I guess we'll take up a whole bunch of questions then. We got about 30 minutes to go. The Archangel Paul, your thoughts on 22 TMC in an AR platform? I don't know what to tell you about that. I've never shot anyone. I've never shot a 22 TMC. 22 TMC, what is that? That may be a stupid question to you. I don't know what a 22 TMC is. The only 22, what is it? What's the one Rock Island makes, Armscore makes? Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure. I like that. That's your problem right there. Apple blows. Actually, Apple's the only thing I found that's reliable on running video. Video is so darn TCM, 22 TCM. That's what the 22 I was thinking of. Maybe that's what you meant. You got 22 TMC. Maybe you meant TCM. What is the minimum round count for concealed carry? I don't understand the question. What's the minimum round? There's no minimum round count for concealed. I'm in the state of Louisiana, so I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, something specific here, but we don't have a round count minimum. I would imagine that you're going to only be able to carry so many, and then you won't be concealing anymore. So maybe that's a bit of an issue. But in the state of Louisiana, there is no minimum round count for concealed carry. Again, I can't speak for other states. I don't know about the other states. Rock Island 1911, you did a video 2014. Then you're talking about the 22 TCM, then Archangel. Yeah, 22 TCM. I don't have it up here. I think it's downstairs. It's a cool gun. Now, I've never run it in an AR-15 platform, but it's a very cool gun. Has a really loud report. The 22 TCM is basically a 22 with a 9mm powder behind it, powder charge behind it. So it's a really, really loud report. I mean, it's extremely loud. Ball of fire about this big comes out of the muzzle, and the bullet flies extremely fast. Very fun gun to shoot. Extremely low recoil. I like it. AR-15 platform, never shot one, but I bet it's a lot of fun. I would imagine that's a ton of fun. I always wonder why they had never made one of those. Rock Island had never done that. Seemed like a pretty cool round, and that would be a very, very fun round. Relatively cheap. I mean, I know some people say it's expensive, but compared to 22 it is, but it's really not terribly expensive. And Armscore makes great ammo. We use Armscore's ammo all the time. How few is too few? Okay, if that's the question for round count, man, I'd say anything smaller than 1911. So I know some 1911s are 7-round count. I think that's all relative. I mean, I know people say you can't ever plan for, when a disaster is going to happen or when you're going to have to carry. So you certainly can't plan what gun you take on a specific day. In other words, you can't walk out the door with a Glock that holds 15 rounds one day because you're pretty sure you're going to get in trouble, and then walk out of the house with a 8-round 1911 the next day because you're like, today's probably not going to be a bad day. We can't predict that. Even in neighborhoods that we go into, we can't predict that. So, man, that's tough. That's a tough call on what your round count is. You know how I say round count needs to be incorporated into your carry? How many can you carry and still conceal is what I look at. If you need to carry a Glock with this many rounds, if you have bulky enough clothing, then carry that. But if you need to carry something like this, a Kimber Solo, because it's much smaller, well, then you're going to be dealing with a whole lot less rounds. I'm not going to choose this one if I can wear this one comfortably and still conceal it. I'll never take this one simply because of the round count. So I don't think there's any magic number to say this is a particular round count that's sufficient. I always say carry as many as you can. Whatever you can cover up, whatever you can conceal, carry it. Carry that many. Let's see, guys. I'm trying to read you guys' comments here and keep up. Since we have kind of a loose schedule, now that I've screwed up the stream tonight, I don't know what the deal was. I have a really bad signal tonight. I went and restarted my router. Still not much good luck. Just a pain in the ass. I'm telling you, I had all this artwork. I had all the different pictures we could look at together, and now that's all shot. I'll have to work on that. I'll make sure we don't do this again next week with that. Chip McCormick, RPM 10 round 1911. Chip McCormick, I like their magazines and some guns. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Some of their magazines are awesome, but man, I've had some issues with some of their magazines. Actually, Rock Island doesn't care for the Chip McCormick magazines that much. You know anyone who's sent their P320 in for the upgrade yet? No, actually, Prez Rock asked, do you know anyone that sent their P320 in for an upgrade yet? I know a ton of people who have tried to. The sad thing is, I did a video, a month, 2 months ago, going through the process of filling out all your paperwork online, or all the questionnaire online, I should say, through Sig Sauer. Sig Sauer at the end of that process tells you, we're going to contact you back and let you know what you need to do to send that pistol in. I've heard nothing. And I did it on the Monday they made that available. And that's what I've heard a lot of other people have. A lot of people have. So let's see, Blaze and Paul, you should do a video on slickguns.com. I don't know what that is. What is that? Another platform for videos? I'm assuming that's what that is. So anyway, no feedback. To my knowledge, nobody has been contacted by Sig. I will tell you this, and this is off the record and just between you and I. Sig is having to do a lot. This is from a reliable source that I shall not name because I don't want to get them in trouble. Sig is having to do a bunch to get ready for this voluntary upgrade. It ain't just a matter of these guns rolling in and then they slap a couple of parts in and they go out the door. This is a whole lot bigger than Sig is wanting you and I to know about. And I'm a Sig fan. I mean, I can look right here on that wall. There's 2 Sigs or 3 Sigs on that wall. And there's a handful of Sig pistols. I see a Sig 1911 right there. A Sig Legion right there. I mean, I've got, probably from a manufacturer standpoint, I probably have more Sigs than any other gun because I've always thought their quality was good. And just real disappointed how they're rolling this thing out. And, you know, again, the whole voluntary upgrade, I think they're simplifying it to try to keep the, quote, panic down. And there's no reason to panic. I'm just saying they're trying to keep people from overreacting by keeping it down. But there's a lot going on. So just know that if you're in a hurry to get your P320 sent off and to get it back, may as well get used to not dropping it because you're probably going to have it for a while. I do think once you send it back, they're going to probably be quick about getting it back. That's probably why they're taking their time, because they don't want to piss everybody off when they send their guns in. They sit on them for 6 months. My guess is they're going to have everything ready, and once it's ready, your gun's going to come back pretty fast. Now, that's just my opinion, but I know a few people on the inside of the industry, and that's what they're telling me is probably going on. Let's see. I just saw a question pass through here. I want to back up and take a look at. Okay, David, I see your comment. Sig won't have a response to that upgrade until late October, early November. That's coming from someone in the know. That's good to know. I mean, good to know. Again, y'all, if y'all didn't see that, excuse me, or hear it, supposedly you'll hear something by October or early November, coming from someone in the know, according to David Niels. Good to know. I mean, at least that's news. I mean, honestly, rather than keeping everybody hanging for just, an unknown period of time, it's nice to know that somebody's, even if they're going to leak information out there, leak it, let somebody know what's going on. Let's see. A guy wants to trade me, excuse me, a National Mag Springfield M1A made a couple years ago for my Gen 1 6-inch blue Colt Python made in 1965. I have the original box but replacement grips. Think it's a good trade. Man, it's a National Match Springfield M1A. Dude, if you have a 1965 Gen 1 6-inch blue Colt Python and it's in good condition, you have the original box, replacement grips. I'm guessing you don't have the original grips. Dude, if you tried selling that Colt Python, you might be surprised. I'm not telling you what to do because I hate giving advice on stuff like that because I really am not an expert. I just know what I would do. I check the street value on that Colt Python, and I know this is going to sound kind of lame, but it's true. Since Walking Dead got so popular and what's his name, the lead guy, carries that Python, any Colt revolver, their value is just going up big time. It's funny how a television show, course, it's got to be a popular television show. But it really shot the value of those pythons up. So, yeah, Rick Grimes. So, yeah, I mean, just my advice, I'd hold on to that python. I would find out what you can get for that python. If you're not sentimentally attached to it, shoot, send me an email. I might make you an offer on it. I'm just joking. I certainly don't need one. But, yeah, I mean, that's a heck of a gun. Not saying the M1A is not. The M1A is a beautiful gun. I mean, that's great. But you're talking about a 1965 gun versus, you said, a new one, so a 2017. I'll take almost anything made in 1965 versus anything made today if they're, you know, in similar quality weapons as far as price range goes. So anyway, just keep that in mind. That's, again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Blazing, the CZ P10's video coming. Oh, you got one. Good. You probably like it as much as I do. It's a beautiful gun. Yes, I will have a video coming out soon. I have not shot all of it yet. Main reason why is because we are still down here in Louisiana, and it is freaking hot down here. You know, we had the first day of fall last week. Not here. Not here. It's 90-something degrees today, heat index of 100 degrees. It is painful to go out and shoot video right now because you go out there with a burst of energy and you're ready to roll. You set all your equipment up, your camera equipment, get all your guns out, stock the ammo, and get everything ready. And you're sweating, just sweat's pouring off of it. You're like, dude, I'm ready to pack up and go now. So I know that sounds kind of lame, but yes, I will be working on that. We actually had some cooler air move through last night, so I'm told. It wasn't cooler today, but I believe it is going to start to cool down a little bit. And so yeah, look, we really are good about videos during the fall and the winter. We let them go. We don't have a winter down here in Louisiana. Last year, I think we got below freezing once, and it was probably 32 degrees. So we just don't have winters down here. So we're pretty active videoing from about mid-October till May. So you'll start to see us pumping out a lot of videos coming up pretty soon. Hey, Paul, just bought a loaded M1A. What's your choice in grease? Man, that's hard to say. There's so many oil products on the market these days, man. Okay, you had your Python appraised for $2,600. Would be $3,000 with original wood grips. Man, that's pretty solid, right? I'd hold on to the Python, man. I just would. I mean, if it's in good shape, I'd hold on to it. You probably find some grips, you know, original grips somewhere. Not obviously the original ones that you had. I'm curious what happened to the original grips. Did they, you get rid of them, you sell them, you trade them off? Just curious. Just curious, you know, what you did with them. Stockpile videos during the cool months for release over the hot months. We do that. We actually do. We'll trickle those. We usually run out of videos. I can stagger them and kind of start putting them out. And when May, and really May's not terribly hot, toward the end of May, mid to end May is when it gets really hot. We'll usually run out of videos about about mid-July. So you'll notice from mid-July till about now, there's not a whole lot of videos that come out. I'll put out one or two every couple of weeks or something like that. But yeah, we do try to stagger them out, you know, whenever it's hot. We film a bunch of them. Let's see. I'm echoing Paula. Sorry, Paula. Shit, we got audio right now. I'm just happy for that. Luis Hernandez asked, do you load your own rounds or do you buy in bulk? I'm looking to buy in bulk at first, then later load my own. Well, Luis, I both actually. I used to buy in bulk. Then I got a Dillon 650 reloading station, set it up, loved reloading, really enjoyed it. When you start out with Dillon is, and I don't mean this in a pompous way. I had a friend tell me, look, you just need to get this because if you start out getting the low end reloading stuff, you're going to end up buying the good stuff anyway. So just get the good stuff. So I did. I'm one of the few guys that just dove right in and got the Dillon 650 reloading system, and I loved it. Man, I loved it. I enjoyed reloading. The problem was, I won't say I didn't have the time because it's one of those things. Reloading is kind of therapeutic. Once you get all your stuff dialed in, it's fun. I enjoyed it. The problem is that we've got some ammo sponsors out there that are really good to us, and they give us ammo. Armscore Ammo. I really, truly, we have a good relationship with those guys. They'll send us thousands of rounds at a time to use in our videos, and their stuff is really consistent. I really like it. I've chronoed their stuff versus other mass-produced ammunition, and for the price, Armscore ammo blows everybody else away. Winchester white box, I wouldn't flush the box of it down the toilet. I had a box of I shoot 40 caliber in USPSA, and I had a box of a 50 round box, a white box Winchester, 40 caliber, and I had 4 different lengths of size in it. 4 different. They're all supposed to be one size. There were 4 different sizes. The way they would put these things in there, they weren't crimped properly. They weren't seated into the case properly. They were just spitting them out. So the mass-produced stuff, I'm not real happy with it, although there are some really good brands out there. You know, Armscore, I would tell you to look into that. You'll probably get some pretty good deals with them. You know what? Contact them and tell them that you watch our show. They're one of our biggest sponsors, and we're very tight with them. You know, I would love for you guys to call them up and say, hey, you know, I heard about you guys from Legally Armed America. I'll bet you they give you a deal. We need to find out if they'll give us a promo code or something like that where you guys can use it. But definitely do that. I will say this, if you decide to go ahead and start reloading your own, you won't regret it. It's fun. I enjoyed it. I may at some point start doing it again one time, you know, maybe when I get a little bit older and have a little bit more time on my hands. But right now, I just don't have the time to do that. Do you have any opinions on the Diamondback DB15 pistol? I actually have one. I have one of the Flat Dark Earth Diamondback DB15 pistols. I got them when they first came out about 3 years ago, and actually did a review on one. If you scroll back through a bunch of our videos, you'll find it. Loud, like any short barrel or pistol, AR pistol is. But what's cool is, I know a lot of people don't think an AR-15 is a truck gun. It's not my primary truck gun. And I know people are always leery about how guns are stored in a vehicle. I've got my way of doing it. Okay, this is how I do mine. I've got, it's a scabbard that sits behind my passenger seat, and it's about this long, and it's got a zipper that runs down it. So it sits on the back of my seat, and it sits low. And I have that Diamondback DB15 because it's the shortest rifle that or pistol that I have. And I have one of those, I don't know if it's a Shockwave. Not Shockwave, that's the shotgun deal. It's like one of those Sig arm braces that I have on it. My whole thinking behind it is, if my pistol that I either have on my side or the one that I have in my truck up front, if it's not sufficient and I need a rifle, well, I have the next best thing, I have an AR pistol. And I will shoulder that thing in a heartbeat without any hesitation. This is before all the ATF rulings came out saying that now I guess you can do it. This is before that. Again, my thinking was, I have a rifle if I need it. If I really need to focus on that shot, now I have the way to do it with that DB15. So I do think enough of the 15. I have made some minor modifications of my own to it to make sure that it's reliable. But with that being said, so many of your parts out there for your companies like Diamondback, these companies aren't manufacturing all their own parts. So you're really getting parts that are probably in some of the other rifles out there that are nice rifles. So you're not getting junk. Diamondback is not manufacturing their bolt carrier group. They're getting it from someone. And they're probably getting it from someone that's reputable, that just repackages it under a different name with Diamondback. So I don't think you can go wrong with something like that. What price are you getting on it? I'm just curious because I don't know what those things run now. I did see one at a gun show not long ago. Solon Green says, I love Freedom Munitions and American Eagle for cheap range ammo. Freedom Munitions makes great stuff. We actually, it's one of those weird things, man, when you talk to people at a lot of these gun conferences that we go to. Freedom Munitions is also supposed to be one of our sponsors, actually of our rifle ammo, because Armscore doesn't make enough rifle ammo. So Freedom Munitions, you may be seeing more of them on our show coming up, because we're going to probably just use Armscore just for our handgun ammo and use Freedom Munitions, and actually they're refurbished ammunition for our rifle ammo. It's good stuff. I've talked to those guys. I've seen their process, and top notch. So yeah, Freedom Munitions, I don't think you can go wrong right there. Yeah, the Blade, Frankie Jones. It is the Blade. That's the one I was thinking of. Let's see. Favorite revolver, speaking of Python. Honestly, guys, I'm not a revolver guy, but I do have a 1957 Colt single action Army nickel plated 357 Magnum. That was my dad's. on the wall over here. And I've got a Smith & Wesson 500 Magnum that I absolutely hate. I hate it because that thing is painful to shoot. We did a review on one, and I'm going to tell you, out of every gun I've ever shot, rifle, shotgun, pistol, whatever, Smith & Wesson 500 is the only one that ever torqued my back. I mean, when I shot it, 5 rounds in the cylinder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When I got done, I'm walking down range to go to my target, and I'm like, damn, it feels like I hurt my back from shooting that pistol. And we had slowed it down and got it in slow motion, and you can actually see the force when I shot that thing, and it rippled all the way through my arm. You can see it go through my arm and into my body right here. I mean, that's how much force is in there. I've never seen that in post-production, putting any of our videos together before, where I could actually see that ripple of that recoil going back into my body and moving. I mean, yeah. People brag about how tough they are because they shoot a Smith & Wesson 500. They're not shooting one all day long. I can promise you that. And I'm no tough guy, but believe me, your body can't shoot one all day long. There's no way. Let's see. Saul and Green, no reason to apologize for all the comments. That's what this is for. I'm glad you guys are being this active. I appreciate you guys being active like this. Let's see. And I'm missing a lot of your stuff, guys, because when I start talking, I miss a whole bunch of your questions. So I do apologize for that. I'm scrolling back, looking at some of your questions, trying to get that. 725 for the DB15 pistol. That's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad deal at all, actually. Yeah, you said you got one in flat dark earth and one in gray. I have the flat dark earth, and I saw the gray one at a gun show a couple weeks ago. Good looking gun. Daniel defends DDM4. I got a DDM4 right over here. Man, I don't think I've ever shot that thing. I mean, it's a great gun. It's a beautiful gun. I love the way it's made, but I don't believe I've ever shot that. Paula says she'd love to go to a gun show with me. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't, because I'm slow. I'm a slow mover at a gun show. Actually, I spent a lot of time. What I like about the gun shows, and this is probably a lot of you guys probably the same way. I like catching up with in many cases, the really old men that are owning that have owned guns and sold them for 30 and 40 years and no freaking history of these guns. I'm talking random crap that you and I would never, you almost couldn't Google half the stuff. I talked to one guy at a gun show last month. This guy's from down in New Orleans. So, I'll run into him again. The next gun show is, I think, in November. So I'll see him in November. The next one down here. And this dude, I was looking at an FN FAL that he had. Now his, as you see this one here, it's got the black stock and all that. His had the wood stock. Everything was wood on it, and it's beautiful looking gun, but it was pretty pricey. I mean, it was over $2,000. I was like, oh man, not something I was ready to do. I wasn't ready to pay for something like that. So I started talking to him, and at first I think he kind of blew me off because he's like, here's another guy asking about a $2,000 gun, and he doesn't have any money or whatever. Then I think he realized I was truly interested because I told him I was doing a segment once it cools off on Cold War guns. So we start talking about Cold War guns. This dude knew everything about it. I mean, all kinds of stuff. One of the more, and you guys, somebody out there may know the answer to this. He was showing me some old stocks on some old, I think it was Romanian and some other maybe Croatian guns and some things like that. And it was very interesting to me because he was talking about how our stocks, a lot of the stocks in America, they're either, a polymer stock, which is basically a petroleum-based product, made that, or wood stock. Well, he was talking about how some of these stocks up there in the mountains, when they're making some of these guns over there in Europe, how you're nowhere near petroleum, natural gas, nothing like that. So you don't have that petroleum product to somehow another manufacture that stock, that pistol grip or anything. And at the same time, they don't waste their wood on something like that. So they're basically taking cow and pig hooves, hair, snout, teeth, everything like that, and they basically compact it and mash it into, there it is, Han, bakelite. That's exactly what it is. This was so interesting talking to this old dude because, and he had some there. And look, every time I've seen that, again, bakelite, or I don't know what you call it, the right way to pronounce it, I should say, but that's exactly what it is, bakelite. I've seen it. I always thought it was compressed wood, like you have CDX in your in your plywood, where it's just basically shredded wood that's all compacted and glued together. That's kind of what I thought it was, and then I thought it was stained. But he was telling me, no, that's not what it is. And he pulled out several rifles and was showing me. Very interesting. I mean, that's not the thing that blew my mind, but just this dude knew so much about that. And he starts showing me all these different types of rifles and telling me how this rifle was used and why it was used, and what it was known for, the biggest strengths it had. So that's the cool thing that I found, that a lot of these gun shows, I'm a slow mover at the gun shows because I enjoy interacting with these people. A busy gun show to me is not fun to me because the guy doesn't have time to sit there and BS with you. I have found that the best time to go to a gun show, and no one probably cares about this, but the best time to go to a gun show, if you truly want to have the attention of the person who actually is behind the booth, if you want to get some knowledge and some random thoughts and stuff like that, go on a Sunday before about 11 o'clock or before 12 o'clock. Most gun shows open at 9. On Sundays, a lot of people, are going to church between 9 and noon. So if you go to the gun show between 9 and 11, or even noon, you could go as far as noon. Some of the churches are going to get out around 11, so noon you're going to have people trickling in. But that's the time when they're the slowest. Obviously with Obama not being president now, gun shows are a little bit slower now as it is. But you go during the church time, the church hours on a Sunday, and you can sit there and spend 2 hours just BSing with somebody. It's a blast. So let me roll back up here and catch some of y'all's. We're going to run a little bit over 11:30 tonight because I was late and I screwed up. So we're going to roll something through here. Also, Solid Green asked, but do you have any other sentimental family guns? My great-grandpa bought a 12 and 20 gauge Browning Auto 5s in the 50s. They were passed down to me. Good for you. 4 generations in my family. That's good, man. I'd hold on to those Brownings for sure. Obviously, those are going to be, I'm assuming, Belgian golden trigger Brownings. So you probably got some pretty handy things right there. You could contact, the Rock Island, not Rock Island Arms, but Rock Island Auctions. You could probably get those things sold for a pretty good little bit. That's a good. I don't think I have any other. I do have some other sentimental guns. I don't know that they're of any value outside of me being sentimental to them. I've got an old muzzle loader up here, probably not worth anything. Hold 1 second. I'll see if I can get it down without killing myself. Yeah, watch. I'll show you. Hold on. This is one that's probably not worth anything, but it's pretty cool. This old thing right here, it's not the prettiest muzzle loader you're ever going to find, but it's pretty cool. It's got all the parts on it. Everything works to a certain degree. I say works, I haven't shot it, but this was an old gun handed down from my dad. Not really sure. I don't know any history on it, none whatsoever. I just know that I've actually talked to somebody. He's got 2 triggers on it. I've spoken to somebody, and they are going to see if they can somehow or another find some markings somewhere on this thing. And I don't know that my eyes are so bad I wouldn't see them if they were on there. But if they can find some kind of markings on here to tell what era it might actually be from and how original it might actually be. I don't know anything about muzzle loaders as far as back in the day, so I don't know when certain things might have come into popularity on a muzzle loader or not. So I don't know what to tell you on that, but it's that's a pretty cool gun. I like that one. It's let's see. I've got the first 22 I ever shot, a single shot 22 rifle, and a couple other little guns. Guns that were passed down to me. I have my dad's old, probably made in the 50s, a Remington semi-auto shotgun 12 gauge, one of the first shotguns I ever shot. See, I've got some pretty neat stuff. Let's see. Trying to read through y'all's stuff again. Let's see. Archangel asks, Paul, have you seen the SHTF 50 from Safety Harbor Firearms? I have not. It sits on an AR-15 lower and shoots 50 BMG being bolt action. Wow. I have not seen that. Good Lord. Man, I tell you what, I have a Wind and Weaponry 450 Bushmaster, a 450. I mean, you're talking about a 50 BMG. That 450 just, now, when I shot it, I wasn't standing like this. I was leaning over. So instead of hitting me more in my shoulder, like a gun's supposed to hit you, it was probably more up where my collarbone's going into my shoulder. It whipped my butt. I shot 20 rounds of that thing, and I was like, holy crap. Again, I mean, it was poor positioning from leaning down, trying to sight it in. So I was leaning forward, and that gun was hitting me here. If I would have been upright, it wouldn't have hurt as bad. But I didn't have enough stuff to stack it up to sit up to shoot it. I would not want to shoot a 50 BMG on an AR-15 platform. It just does not absorb enough recoil. The gun's not heavy enough. So, but I mean, that's an interesting combination right there, definitely. Check out the Silencer Code Maxim 50. I don't know what that is. Jared, what is that? That's the that's not that pistol they make, is. I know that's a 9mm. Sentiments on the Share Act. The Share Act, that's that Sportsman's Act, I believe, right? Anything we can do to get our suppressors out of jail would be a beautiful thing to me. I see where there was some. It was actually the Share Act was supposed to go to the floor this week. Duncan, I think is the one. Duncan from South Carolina was the one that was supposed to get that thing to the floor. He's the one that authored the bill. Took the Share Act, took the Sportsman. Share is an acronym for Sportsman, HARE, and he is the one that took that what are they calling it, the NFA, the suppressor whatever act, and put it into the Share Act bill. Well, he was going to try to bring it to the floor this week, and as naturally, hang on guys, my battery's getting low, but we're not going anywhere. As naturally the Democrats are known for doing, Nancy Pelosi had something to say about that. I don't see. I had actually, that's an article that I had to talk about tonight that I closed and I've lost it since I had to restart my computer. But yeah, man, Nancy Pelosi, get this. These people are so disgusting how they politicize everything. If you remember, Scalise, the guy who got shot by the crazy, whacked out Democrat with an AR-15 a few months ago, right before the softball game that the Democrats and Republicans were supposed to play. Well, Scalise came back to Congress this week. And, naturally, they started talking about the Share Act. And Nancy Pelosi said, what a horrible time to be talking about allowing people to have guns that are quiet. That's going to make it easier for people to kill other people because you won't hear where the gun's coming from. What horrible timing to try to reintroduce this bill when Scalise comes back. And I'm thinking they don't have anything to do with each other. The Hearing Protection Act has nothing to do with Scalise being shot. But this crazy whacked out woman is trying to combine the two and make them be somehow or another, tie them to one another. That's what always drives me nuts about Democrats and liberals. that they can tie the stupidest things together. And we sit back and think, that's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And then all of a sudden you hear a bunch of other Democrats going, yeah, yeah, exactly. My thoughts exactly. And you're like, what? I mean, they're all just as stupid as one another. So anyway, that's unbelievable that they're worried about that. Nancy Pelosi is even saying that. Let's see. I'm just trying to read through y'all's stuff. Gosh, I'm so disappointed that I didn't have any audio and couldn't use this Wirecast system that I had. The new system that I have, obviously you can't see what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at a big monitor right now that's got all of your comments flashing up on it. But the system that I had, and maybe I'll shoot a video on this one day where you can see it once the system works. But it's called Wirecast. It's $700 software that you buy, you put on your computer, and it's made specifically for doing live streaming broadcasts. And it's really cool. The interface is really nice, and it's set up nicely, and you can actually take your pictures off the internet and put them in a file and click on those pictures. So whenever I'm streaming to you guys, I can select what picture I want you to look at. It might be a screenshot of a website. It might be a gun. It might be a close-up of a gun. I can do things like that and actually share that with you while we're doing this. So anyway, what I'm going to probably try to do is I'll try to work on that, and we'll get a quality stream up for you guys. Something I'm dedicated to doing, and I enjoy doing this. Y'all, I think we're going to try to kick off of here. I see some of you guys are taking off and getting out of here. I appreciate everything you guys do. It's a lot of fun to have you guys hanging out with me. There's typically about 20, 25, 30 of us on here, depending on, what night it is and what's going on. I'm really trying to build those numbers up. So I'm glad we don't have a ton of people on here yet while I try to iron out all these bugs. But my goal is that once we get to where you guys are telling me the stream looks okay, and I can sit here and change and, mix it up a little bit to where it's not just me standing here talking the whole time, then we're going to start, putting more things out there and trying to get more people to come on. So, we'll bump up that viewership later on. And what I may do is get some of you guys to help me doing some admin work to try to keep the yahoos out of here and boot them out of here when somebody comes on that's being a smart ass or something like that. So anyway, at this point, we're going to shoot for next Friday night at 10:30. I may try to come in here tomorrow night and test some things on here, but it strictly will be a test, and it may just be a matter of me sitting here, you guys watching me fumble with the audio like I did for the first 20 minutes here tonight. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna work on this tomorrow, and hopefully I will, have some things squared away for you guys next time. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. I'm gonna log out right